How do we start these things? Um, Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Before and After podcast, Casual Conversation Edition, where we have a casual conversation. The we being me
and me.
Excuse me.
Wow,
Hang
I'm just
on.
gonna cut right in here, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa.
Welcome back to the Before and After podcast. I am your co-host. What? Back again? What? From where? Darlene Nationale, making just a random star appearance. Excuse me. How do we do this? We haven't done this in a while, I feel.
I mean, you haven't recorded with me or anybody really on this podcast in weeks.
I went MIA. I
You
went underground.
Yeah, you took extended
Leave of
leave.
absence.
Yeah, I was gonna call it paternity leave, but
It was paternity leave.
you fathered a child.
I did.
Crazy. What was that child called?
Still don't know his name. Somewhere, yeah. I tried it for 6 weeks and I was like, nah, I can't do this.
Excellent. Anyway, I'm Keegan. You guys hopefully know my voice at this point. I don't know. Anyway, this is a casual conversation.
Way casual.
Darlene, before we recorded this, she said, "How casual are we getting? Are we getting like accountant casual, like business casual, or are we getting casual?
Let's get casual.
Yeah, like socks and sandals casual.
Yeah, we don't have socks and sandals. Oh, we have socks on. We're in our festive gear right now. I got my red socks on. What do you got?
I have teal, aqua, turquoise, one of those colors. I don't know. Let's continue to describe visual things for an audio podcast.
Yeah.
I think they would
that.
love that. Anyway, the purpose of this casual conversation, because all recordings have a purpose, we will ask and answer a question.
One singular question.
It's one question regarding accounting and careers and all that stuff, but we might take some time to answer it.
No, let's just get it over with.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, we received this question on our Instagram page at Before and After Pod. Somebody sent us a message or left a comment. I don't remember. I just remember seeing it. Mm-hmm. And they said, could you please discuss when the best timing or time of year to leave public accounting? And so my response is, sorry, I very dramatically slammed down my notebook. Where was I? Right. Timing and or time of year.
Mm-hmm. You want to ask me first or you want to try answering that?
Well, you know what? I've got an answer. Let's see if you have the same answer.
All right. Leave anytime you want. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. That's like me being careless about the accounting career path, right? But usually there's busy seasons, right? So you want to be respectful during those times. And wow, I haven't had this type of conversation in a long time. So I'm like dusting off a portion of my brain in order to retrieve these
You're
memories.
retrieving this from the archives.
Exactly. Yeah, this deep in the archives. But basically the best time to leave is just always after busy season. Really. I truly think so. Either after busy season or before busy season starts.
I mean, that's like every time of the year, technically.
I mean, yeah, but I guess it depends, right? It has to be that general because it depends if you're in tax, audit, like, I don't know, consulting even, anytime.
Assurance, that's the word you're looking for.
There you go. Whatever. Who cares? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like before the busy season really starts, I don't mean like the day before and you're obviously already booked up. Like if you have a good team, give them that courtesy of like, hey, I'm gonna dip. I can't handle this anymore, or like I got better things to do. That's kind of my perspective. And how about you?
So it's a trick question because there's no real right answer, because you could leave whenever, any day of the year. Just depends on how high your tolerance is for people being mad at you. Right? If you're
But if you're never gonna see them again,
if you're never going to see them again, like honestly, it may be unethical, but technically correct.
right? I don't
Right.
know if unethical is the right word, but it's like
It's
it's in bad taste.
it's what they call a dick move,
Yeah,
right?
in the industry, right?
In the industry, that's the official term. ASC. Darn.
Such a dick move.
Sorry.
ASC.
Yeah. What is it? Audit standard certificate. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were trying to do that for a dick move. I was gonna say that's ADM.
No.
Okay.
Like the accounting proclamations. What do they call it? I can't remember anything.
The Ten
today.
Commandments of being an accountant.
The 10 Commandments of GAAP.
Okay.
Thou shalt debit and credit. Anyway, you can leave whenever you want. It's just what will happen is, you might get a bad reference. You might get blacklisted from the company and never be able to work there ever again. You might get chased down to the ends of the earth by your team who say you can't leave yet. Right? Like, it's much better for your professional network and your personal network to leave at an appropriate time. Whether that's, the day busy season ends or the day before it starts. I guess, I don't know. Some people are in a constant busy season. Like I know,
That's very true.
I know 2021 for a lot of people, busy season started January 1st and it ended like July 4th.
Yeah, it's all those crazy extensions that has been happening.
And why do we extend it? To give ourselves more time to stay just as busy.
Right. Right, exactly. So there's your answer, right? That's
great answers, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we have actually gave you a concrete finite answer. So here's a date for you.
Figure it out yourself.
Here's a date. May 13th is a great day to quit.
Did you just come up with that on the fly?
Came up with it on the spot.
Okay, May 13th is National Quit Your Accounting Day.
Not
according
national.
to our co-host Keegan.
Not national.
Everybody put that in your calendars.
But if everybody's gonna leave, I keep knocking the headphone cable.
Yeah, it's okay. Me too. I'm doing that too.
If you guys are all gonna leave, let's all pick the same day, May 13th, National Leave Your Firm Day.
The stats are going up with our turnover rates on May 13th.
Right. I want to make
symbolism?
I want to be the footnote of an accounting article that people read 20 years from now. They're like, really crazy. May 13th, 2022. A ton of people quit their job all because some dumb idiot on a podcast was saying that's a great day to quit.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I mean, there it is. Like, it's that's the accounting answer to the question. Yeah.
And
woohoo, we did it.
We did it.
Soft high five.
Soft high five so we don't blow out the microphone.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got about X amount of minutes to
we got time to kill. Here we go.
Talk about anything else.
So, just to be completely transparent with everybody, we're trying to figure out things in our own lives, and I think it'd be really cool to start bringing those stories into the podcast to humanize us hosts. Don't you agree, Keegan?
I feel you being really inauthentic when you say that.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't know any other way to. Okay, so basically, why don't I ask you this question? How have you been liking accounting so far?
Well, when you account for at least 40 hours a week, every week since you were like 19 years old, you start studying accounting in school, you start working in, accounts receivable, you start studying for your CPA, you start working in public accounting. There's a lot of accounting.
Yeah.
A lot of accounting.
So what do you do outside of accounting to balance this lifestyle of yours?
So what you're asking me what I do when I get home from work, and it's the first moment when I'm not working or driving to work.
Yeah, or just what do you enjoy outside of accounting?
Well, I enjoyed studying accounting.
Oh my god. We're gonna have to
And-
put him on a hiatus next because this is.
I'm just kidding. No, I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy exercising, and I enjoy reading stories about lands where accounting doesn't exist.
Yeah, putting yourself in a fantasy
A
world.
fantasy world. Yeah,
Right.
like they don't have accounting in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Right?
Have
Unless-
you actually read those? Like all those books before?
I read 4.5 of them. I got to the 5th book halfway through, and then I just stopped.
They're pretty big, right? Like,
Yeah, they're like 800 pages, I think. They're big. They're
Wow.
big books.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool though.
Yeah.
I remember them being cool. They're never. There's no ending though. They're not gonna end ever. Mm-hmm. I actually, interestingly enough, I heard originally. Sorry, Game of Thrones talk.
No,
now.
go. Let's do it. Spoiler alert, potentially.
No, I won't spoil anything.
Never mind.
Because originally George R.R. Martin he said that he had planned to do 2 trilogies, right? The first 3 books, and then there'd be a 5-year gap in the story, and then we look at it 5 years later for the second trilogy.
Oh, okay. Never knew that. I only
Right.
watched the HBO. I never read it.
Right. But when he actually came out and wrote the 4th book, he was like, "Screw that old idea. I got a better one. let's just go crazy." And then he totally went off the rails with what his original plan was, and some may say he's scrambling
Yeah.
to find an ending, because instead of doing 2 trilogies with a time gap in between, he did 3 books that would have been a trilogy, end with the Red Wedding, I think, if I've got my timelines
the
right.
Red Wedding.
Right?
Ooh.
That'd be a crazy cliffhanger. And then 5 years later, and you're like, "What?" You're reeling, you know. But instead, he was like, I like the story how it is. Let's just keep going. And then he did this weird like north-south split
Okay.
of like one book was all the stories in the north, and the other book was all the stories in the south, or all the characters in the south.
Oh, I loved the stories in the South.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's with Queen Cersei and stuff. Am I right?
I don't remember
'Cause I
where
thought-
she would have been. I don't remember. It's been too many years since I read them.
Oh, okay.
I just remember they did a weird split,
Interesting.
and yeah, and it became a mess.
All I remember is that the ending was ass. If you ever watched season 8 of Game of Thrones, it was such a letdown for me. I think, right, because he hadn't finished that book, the final book, and the people who were in charge of the movie, of the show, were like, we could totally handle this ourselves. We get the vibes. We have the vibes. We could do this. And then it just crashed and burned, and it was terrible.
You know, Game of Thrones is the one show that I've never heard somebody say, "We should go back and rewatch it." Right? Like Breaking Bad ended, everybody was like, I'll rewatch Breaking Bad every so like I've rewatched the show several times.
Yeah.
Right? And there's other shows that I can't think of off the top of my head that are very rewatch. Friends, great example.
Really?
You could rewatch Friends all day, right? But Game of Thrones, did it just leave a bad taste in your mouth?
I think so. I mean, I think I would rewatch every other season except for the last one.
Even knowing that the last season is tainted.
I don't know. Yeah, I say that I would, but I won't. Like, that's the reality of that. It was very enjoyable. I love all the twists and turns that it took in the beginning seasons, and then even some in the end. But it's just like I think it was the last 2 episodes. I was pretty let down with it.
Why were you let down?
I don't want to get into it, man. It brings
okay.
back tainted memories. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't watched it, but
Well, I mean, you're telling them this is the worst thing that ever happened in television, and I'm not going to tell you about it because what do you want these people to experience the heartbreak? And
they should.
Oh, okay.
Or just
Fair point.
don't watch it at all. No, I feel like everybody has heard about that from the ending. You know what I mean? You don't need to go into much detail, and then people would
I
just be
haven't
like,
seen the ending.
yeah, because you've heard that. It's
Yep.
terrible.
Yep.
So I'm protecting our listeners.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's what we
My
do
mama
is-
bear is jumping out.
We protect the listeners.
That's our first priority. We protect them from accounting. we protect them against emotional distress as best as we can, and we protect them against the last season of Game of Thrones. That's written in our contract.
You know, bringing it a little more towards accounting, a little bit more towards career stuff. Did you ever have? Let's reel it back to the topic at hand, okay. to the point of our show.
Right.
Did you ever have one of those managers or like a senior manager, partner, director, whatever level they were, that when you put in your notice, they immediately went to everybody else and was like, this person's making a huge career mistake. They're making a mistake. Like, this is the worst. They can't leave right now. They're destroying their career.
I don't think it's happened to or about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't experienced an actual manager coming up and telling me about somebody else who put their notice that they're ruining their career. But through the grapevine, you hear those types of stories.
Mm-hmm.
And my impression of it, like, even when I worked there, I was always rooting for the person that was leaving. Yeah, I don't care if they were the worst worker ever. Like, there is a reason they are leaving, and to stunt them from that, or like to leave with a bad taste instead of being excited for them in whatever other opportunities they have, is that to me is unprofessional. Because most people know that. At least in my when I first started my job at the Big Four that I was working on, our inspirational speaker was like, this is a stepping stone for like 90% of you. We don't expect you to stay for 10 years or to make it till partner. Like, some of you are going to be here for 4 months. He said that. And I was like, is that going to be me? No, not me. And then he's like, some of you are going to be here for a year. And I said, no, I'm not going to be here. I'll last a little longer. And then he said, some of you are going to be here for 2 years. And I said, ding, ding, ding. That sounds like my alley. Let's go down that road. So yeah, I always cheer for whoever musters that confidence or the will to leave, to be like, yeah, screw this. Hell no. I'm not going to subject myself to this type of work environment.
You know, when they say you're ruining your career, the only career you're ruining is your potential career as an audit partner. Right? Like,
yeah, that, and maybe that person's career.
Oh, maybe.
Because you're probably affecting them of like not meeting a deadline or whatever. It's, yeah. People are going to say that and guilt you to try and stay longer for their benefit, not for you.
Right. I feel like every manager in public accounting is caught in the middle. Right. Where they're like, they want to keep enough staff and seniors so that they have people to do the work. And then they also need to push back on partners and say, like, we don't have enough people. And so when, you know, sometimes some managers are very understanding and some are very not understanding. And when those not understanding managers have somebody leave, they're like, I don't get it. This is my career and you should do the same as me. And I'm going to lash out and bash you in front of all your peers and all your former coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, moral of the story is it's not a mistake to leave. It's not going to ruin your career.
I've only met 2 people in my life that have said, I'm probably going to go back to specifically Big Four, public accounting. They're just those 2 people. And one of them, you know, one of them I was already questioning, like, he seems kind of off. You know what I mean? He seems like he gets off on these type of things. Like, he loves the hurt, you know? Like, I'll stay in this toxic relationship because part of me really loves the adventure. That's the vibe I was getting off of that guy. The other person, I don't know if they had any other career opportunities elsewhere, or maybe they felt that way, so they're started evaluating going back. But I mean, keep your head up, keep your head straight.
I've always had like a personal rule, I guess. I don't know, golden rule, personal rule, whatever, is always go forward, right? Like, that sounds really dumb when you say it like that, but
Always move forward.
always time goes forward, you go forward,
Exactly.
right? But it's more so of, you know, you start your college career, whatever you're doing, whatever in college. You leave that job that you work in college, if you work in college like I did, and you don't go back to it, right? Like that's done.
Oh,
That's,
right. I remember this conversation with you.
that part of my life is done. I'm not gonna go back to that job. And then my job before I went into public accounting, you know, I worked there and it was great and it was excellent, and I'm done with that though. Like
Yeah.
that's that period of my life is over. Public accounting, same thing, right? I'm done with that period of my life, and now I'm on to consulting, right? And so maybe there will come a point where I tire of consulting and I go on to do something else, and I probably will continue to move forward, and I won't go back into the consulting world, right? So it's just this constant,
Moving forward.
you know, moving forward, and I feel like I'm making some sort of progress in this rat race we call life.
Oh, he's a poet. Wow. Wow. Ooh. In this rat race we call life.
Well,
That's the caption of this episode.
you know, I was trying to end it on a depressing note.
All right.
I don't know if I succeeded there, but anyway, keep moving forward.
I love that.
That's my advice. That's
Yeah.
my advice to all you listeners out there, all you accountants, and accountant wannabes.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for listening, everybody. Is there anything that we're missing? I mean, if you want, follow us on our socials, Before and After Pod. I think it only exists on Instagram. No, you know what? Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook is where we are present.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
We're on Facebook,
We're on Facebook. Well, because it's connected to Instagram.
but if we're on Facebook, does that mean our audience is like average age of 75?
No.
Welcome to the Before and After Retiree podcast.
Yeah, no, there's some people that are, you know, they'll. We're not as active on Facebook as we are on Instagram, I'll say. And LinkedIn is a big question mark, because it's always like we're having these very open career path discussions on a career-based website. I don't know if it's going to be received well.
You don't want your boss to see that.
No, seriously, like we have followers, right? But like zero engagement. And every time I talk to the person who helps us with our social media, shout out to Lindsay, for everything, not just before and after. But anyways, every time I talk to her and she gives me an analysis of what we're seeing for the before and after statistics for LinkedIn, I'm expecting it to be zero, because I doubt somebody's gonna like a post that says, do you hate your job, when their boss is probably like their next connection and can see it on their feed. So, I mean, if you want to follow us on there, you can too.
Yeah, if you want to follow us there, you could probably find us on LinkedIn. But also, if you have career and accounting questions, you can ask us there on LinkedIn. You can ask me on my Instagram DMs, which I don't check often, but I will. I'll check right after this recording, actually. KEE.GAN.
But you guys should also check out his cooking one.
no.
Yeah, I have to give him a shout. I don't care. Come on now. So earlier, I love how this was supposed to be an outro, but I'm going to take this as a spotlight on you. Earlier, he was saying that one of his favorite things to do outside of accounting is cooking. And trust me, when I say cooking, I don't mean any old steak and greens and mashed potatoes, although that is one recipe that you made.
so when you don't mean that, you mean that.
Yeah, no, and he does everything. Like we're trying to touch every single culture. I think you want to try any food that appeals to you. You're like, I want to try making that. And because him and I have a lot of allergies, like true accountants do, he makes them allergy friendly. So gluten-free, soy-free. Follow him. Check it out. Keegan's Cooking. KEEGANCOOKIN. Keegan's Cooking.
Did you spell that right? Keegan's Cooking. KEEGANSCOOKIN.
Yeah. ADS.
Keegan's Cooking.
Keegan's Cooking.
Keegan's Cooking.
I think people can can
They'll-
spell.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's on my apron too. I have a cool apron that says Keegan's cooking.
Yeah, show the camera.
Yeah, here you go, camera. Yeah, I didn't want to use this podcast as a platform to promote my own social media. I'm just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I just make TikToks and Instagrams for fun.
No, that was another conversation we were having though, is where we feel like, I don't know, just adding a little bit more depth to this accounting podcast.
Yeah, debits and credits all day, totally fine. Debits and credits after work gets a little tough.
Debits and credits. Wow. Yeah. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye.